is as
free whirlwinds. Literally just free whirlwinds over and over and over again. It's insane. They think they're like Jackie Chan or something. I don't know what it is. I want to see the good items, the really good low-level items. Hopefully I can get a few of these low-level good items. This, let me pull this up. Hold on. Yeah, this is 5 overpowered low-level items in Classic WoW. I know a few of them, alright. I know a few of them, like Ravager's pretty low level. That's really good. There's a few other ones I can't even think of right now. I think Shadowfang's pretty good. It's probably not going to be on here, but let's see what he has to say. I want to try to farm some of these, so I want to watch this. Oh, it's going to be super quiet. Hold on. Let me turn this up before... Sorry.
So Classic WoW has been out for about
Should be better.
a week. And obviously, most of you guys are still in the leveling process, some people may be just starting, and some tryhards may even be near to level 60. But either way,
I'm just starting.
in Classic WoW is definitely a
In Classic,
time-consuming
anyways.
process, so you need all the help you can get.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there are some really strong items that you can get at low levels that can drastically
Okay,
increase
what are
your
they? Let's
stats
see.
compared to anything else that you can get at that level. There are a lot of really cool items that you can get that will just make it that much easier to grind mobs in Classic WoW.
That's pretty
Starting
good.
off at
Shit.
number 5
The
is
Ravager. Okay.
Now Ravager is definitely one of the most
Yeah.
iconic items that you can find in Classic WoW.
This is one of the like the best axes for pretty much any warrior, especially if you have Wind Fury. Like this guy's an orc, so if he's grouping with other horde players, he has a shaman. They get Wind Fury. Boom, that's crazy. Plus the world buff. There's a world buff that gives you Wind Fury. I'm pretty sure. This axe just goes insane. We're gonna be farming this axe from Scarlet Monastery like super fucking soon.
For good reason. Not only does this axe look really cool, but it's
Super
just
soon. I want this axe so bad.
incredibly
Well,
useful.
not
The
me.
unique effect
I
on
wanna
the
get it
axe
for
is quite game changing.
my
Now,
buddy.
up until this point, the other items that you can get as a melee DPS are pretty standard upgrades. For
Yeah.
one, you have the Corpse Maker that you can get from RFK, which is a really strong two-handed
The Night Seeker. Fuck, I just saw the name too. Night something. It's an axe from Shadowfang. That's not that bad either. A Shadow Bolt.
axe. That's a lot of warriors
That's
really
pretty
look
good.
forward to getting. And then later you can get the Whirlwind Axe, which again is a huge DPS upgrade that you can get at the time.
Those are a little. I
However,
think a
what
little bit
makes
later.
Ravager special is the unique proc that it has. Now Ravager not only has really high damage per second and a slow attack speed, but it also has one of the most insane game-changing procs that you can get in Classic WoW. And best of all, to get this axe you don't need to do any long quest chain. It is as
Free whirlwinds. Literally just free whirlwinds over and over and over again. It's insane.
simple as running Scarlet Monastery armoring, which you will be probably farming anyway, and it just so happens Herald has a 25% chance of dropping this axe.
And his
As I
gear.
mentioned
His
before,
gear's insane for warriors. It's so fucking good.
once you get this axe, it basically
So
opens you
fucking
up
good,
to
man.
a lot more AoE potential.
Yeah.
The proc on this axe basically makes it so that your normal auto attacks do AoE damage with 5 extra weapon damage for about 10 seconds. So the proc on this axe
I don't know if he's gonna say it, but it also locks you in place. So it's not like the standard whirlwind where you can move around. This proc will lock you in place for the duration of the proc. So it can mess you up, but overall, like, that's a very, very small downside to this axe.
basically turns
So
you
I don't
into
know
an
if he'll say it.
AoE
He probably
farming
will.
machine, and a lot
So
of
good.
groups that are just grinding out dungeon runs.
See, he can't
will
move.
Prioritize melee DPS with this axe.
For
Simply
9
because
seconds.
It basically turns you into a dungeon clearing machine, which gives you a really insane amount of XP per hour. Now, the one drawback to this is that once you're in the Bladestorm state, you can no longer move.
Yeah,
You're
there you
basically
go,
locked
yeah.
in place until you use an ability.
Fucking
or you
hair's
can
all
actually
fucked up,
turn the
man.
buff off.
Always gets in my
Once the
eye.
proc has
That looks
happened,
stupid
you
if
can
it's
either
off to the
right-click
side.
on the buff that you have, or an easier way is to create a macro. I believe
Oh, there
it's
you go.
/cancel aura.
I didn't
Bladestorm.
know, so I didn't know it actually gave you a buff. Like, I assumed it did, but yeah, I was gonna say, oh, there you go, /cancel aura Bladestorm. Okay, there you go.
And doing this gives you full control of your character. To be honest, I don't know if
Nice.
there's any other axe in the game that is this game changing, like it literally changes the way your class plays. However, it's only a level 37 axe, so it's not going to last you very long. But for the time period that you get this is a very useful axe, and especially...
But it does. It does last for a long time because the damage on that axe is so good. and the leveling in classic WoW takes so long. So unless you're just straight fucking dungeon grinding, you're grinding XP to the max, then it's gonna take you a long fucking time. And you're gonna have this axe for a very long time.
Strong at its level. So number 4 on this list is the Crescent Staff. Now, as I mentioned before, there's quite a lot of items that you can get in Classic WoW, however they require a quest chain. Now, this quest chain is a little bit hard, but fortunately the reward that you get from it is the Crescent Staff. The Crescent Staff just has a really insane amount of DPS compared to pretty much any two.
Which quest chain is this? I need to do this.
At the time. Now, unfortunately, this is for the Horde only.
Never
However,
mind.
If you're on the Horde and you play as any kind of melee class, you definitely need to get this staff, even if you're a warrior. Because to be honest, the DPS on the staff will be way better than any two-handed axe or two-handed sword that you can find. So to start this quest,
I didn't know it was that good.
Take the quest Hammer of Rune Totem, which you get at the crossroads, which will basically require you to speak to a guy in Thunderbluff. So for many of you guys, if you haven't been to Thunderbluff yet, you need to walk all the way there, and it's kind of a long trek. Then you have another quest where you speak to another person in Thunderbluff.
Long ass walk.
Then finally you get the quest Leaders of the Fang, and this requires you to kill 4 of the bosses in Wailing Caverns, which, to be honest, this quest is easy to overlook if you don't know that it exists. Before you go into Wailing Caverns, make sure that you get this quest, because the reward is that good. The Crescent Staff gives you 20.
It's so good. I wish I could do that.
And this is a staff that you can get at about level
20.3 DPS. What level?
Even though
19?
This is a staff, this is a staff that you can get at about level 19.
19?
Even though this is a staff, it is just an absolute damage machine.
Wow.
And a warrior should definitely get it. I know it's kind of weird that a warrior is using a staff, but
it is kind of weird.
You know that this weapon is absolutely overpowered for the level.
I think it's so weird. I've seen so many staff warriors and they're just running around. They think they're like Jackie Chan or something. I don't know what it is. It's so weird, but alright.
It's also got some
alright, I guess.
7 intellect, spirit, and stamina. So even for a mana-based class, this is also
You're not going to be my DPS, that's what I'll fucking say.
The game will benefit from getting this. It is just that good, whether you're a healer, a mana-based DPS, a hunter, a warrior, no matter who you are, this is just a very good two-handed weapon to get. So
dude, those stats are great.
20 on the Horde. Okay, so number 3 on this list is Thrashblade.
Thrashblade?
So guys, this is an item that you get kind of later on, kind of like in the late 40s, early 50s.
I think I've seen this before.
The item itself is extremely strong. In fact, I'm pretty sure that 8
I've seen that on Sod.
beats Ragnaros the First. A vast majority of their melee DPS were using this sword.
Oh, really?
So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you.
Yeah, I mean 35.2 is insane.
Level 60, you can get this from a quest in Moradon. Both Horde and Alliance can get this.
So that's like 40-50.
That you have in Desolace will both have their version of this quest that you can pick up.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, if you're playing a warrior or a rogue, you definitely need to get this. Because just look at the stats of this. Not only is this an amazing main hand for its insane DPS, but also it has a very cool proc that gives you an extra swing on your weapon. How cool is that? It's like a mini sword specialization proc built into the weapon itself. And
dude, it's insane.
45. So I believe that you
45.
can get the quest, The Corruption of Earth and Sea,
in between 40 and 50.
45. So even as early as 45, you can get this amazing weapon that will pretty much last you until level 60. And even then, it's pretty strong for level 60. You need to kill Princess Feridas, which, to be honest, for a lot of
big fatty,
you're going to be farming this anyway to get the Blackstone Ring. But
we're gonna be farming a lot of this. So we're gonna be farming a lot of Scarlet Monastery, a lot of Maradon. In between there, I'm not really sure. I need to farm a little bit of Black Fathom Deeps. There's a few places I need to farm. But yeah, we're going to be farming a lot of Scarlet Monastery, and I guess a lot of this place too, because we need to get Exicity built the fuck up. We need to get me built the fuck up. Exicity needs to get his Ravager. He needs to get his good mail. He needs to get good shoulders. His weapons are pretty okay, but he needs to get better weapons. He needs to get a good shield in case we need him to tank, and I think that's what's going to happen, because I think he needs to actually tank, because I don't really want to risk having all these stupid tanks, and it's better to... He has a tank. So... Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of farming. A
nice little bonus is you get this amazing sword. So yeah, definitely go get this if you're playing a rogue or a warrior. So number 2 on this list is the Gravestone Scepter. So
Okay.
guys, I feel
What level
like
is
the
this?
majority of the items on this list
I like
have
staffs.
pretty much just been focused on melee DPS. Now there's
Yeah.
a reason for that. Melee DPS are very much gear dependent, like they're only as good as the weapon that they have. Whereas caster DPS, I mean, there's not really any particular piece of gear that can vastly increase your DPS, simply because of the way that stats work in classic WoW. For example, intellect will only give you a small chance to increase your critical strike chance with spells. The spell damage gear that you can get is way later, so to be honest, low level casters are actually kinda getting the shaft when it comes to gear. However, there's one exception. For a lot of caster DPS, you're going to be using a rotation where you use your wand while your mana regenerates. The most notable example of this is the priest. The best rotation you have for killing mobs is going to be front loading your spells, then using your wand while your mana regenerates. And to be honest, wands are pretty busted in classic.
They're fucking dumb, especially if you have enchanting.
Classes like warlock and priest are the most notable examples.
If you have enchanting, you just get the first spell or the first wand that you can make. That one is insane early level. I think it's like 11 DPS per 11 DPS. It's insane early levels. So you just get enchanting as a mage or a priest or anything. Even if you don't want to do enchanting, you want to do alchemy or something, get enchanting first, make the wand, get rid of it later. It's so good.
Of using your wand to do DPS. Now the Gravestone Scepter is honestly insane. I was speaking about the DPS of the Crescent Staff being like 20.3 DPS. However, the Gravestone Scepter can be gotten as early as level 19.
Is this a wand?
And it has 29 DPS.
29?
So for comparison's sake, comparing this to the Greater Magic Wand, which is what casters will be using at that level, only has 17.5 DPS.
I think the lesser one is like 11 something. It's insane.
This is pretty much doubling the DPS of your wand just by getting this. So to get the Gravestone Scepter comes from a quest called Black Fathom Villainy, and it involves you killing the second to last boss in Black Fathom Deeps.
Alright, I can kill Calorus.
And this item is so good that a lot of twinks back in the day would take advantage of this, simply because of how busted this item is. Definitely get this, especially if you're playing a priest or a warlock. This wand will last you a very long time. So guys,
I don't know what damage my wand is. I'll have to check.
Twitch. Now, I get a lot of comments on YouTube, so it's hard for me to interact with you guys. However, I am streaming Classic WoW on Twitch, and I've been streaming the past few days, and it's been a lot of fun. It's really cool to talk to you guys, so drop by on my Twitch and give me a follow.
Classic WoW's great. Check him out. Great guy.
So
great
one
videos.
On this list is the Tidal Charm.
Tidal
Charm. This is a very weird item.
A necklace?
But an absolutely
or a trinket?
Broken item that you can get at a relatively low level. So guys, this is a level 36 trinket, which is absolutely infamous for being one of the most annoying trinkets to fight against in PvP. So guys, basically the Tidal Charm is a trinket that when used, stuns a target for 3 seconds on a 15-minute cooldown. Now you may not think that this is much, however, think about this. This is a 3-second stun that can be used at range instantly.
Does it break on damage?
WoW, where there's not many classes that can stun to begin with, this is just a really good gap filler for pretty much every class in the game. Considering how bursty Classic WoW PvP is, this is the difference between winning a PvP battle and losing one. So
Annihilate, there's way too many people on him.
Best in slot for PvPers with almost every class, and it only requires level 36 to use. However, there's a big catch to this, and how hard this is to acquire.
You just swim underwater?
All the other things on this list will basically be acquired through playing the game casually. However, there's no casual way to get this item.
Oh god.
The Tidal Charm is infamous for being one of the hardest and rarest items in the game. So to give some context as to how to get this item, this drops from a rare mob called Prince Nazjac, which
underwater
spawns between 32 and 48 hours. Yes, you heard me correctly. One Prince Nazjac will spawn every 32 to 48 hours. Just one. And even then, to make things even funnier, it has a 40% chance of dropping the Tidal Charm in the southern part of Iraq.
Jesus! Yo, you better get them layers. Yo, layer me off, layer me off, layer me off.
Bunch of Nargos. You'll spend a few seconds here and will be absolutely frustrated trying to farm this, because this is an underwater zone. And you're pretty much going to be moving around at 50% movement speed while you're down here, and you'll have to have some item that can give you breathing. So you need an underwater breathing potion, or a hydrocane, or something like that. So to get this item is
I was going to say the hydrocane.
However, the item is so good.
Even still, though,
inevitably, there's going to be quite a lot of people trying to get this trinket. It's just that even if you get the miracle spawn, which is between 32 to 48 hours, you still only have about a 40% chance of getting this item. So even then, it's just such a long shot. But strictly speaking, you can actually use this starting at level 36, and this is pretty much best in slot for level 60s of all classes, because of its utility in both defensive and aggressive PvP. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel.
Jeez, well, I wish there was a little bit, like, I wish there was a better item that I could get. Like, I don't think I can really even use the gravestone. The crescent staff would be pretty good. It's got some pretty good damage. Like, it's got int. It's alright, but I don't know. I think mine might be... Oh, no, the crescent staff's the one that I can't get, right? The gravestone scepter. Like, what's that? 29? That's really good, though. And shadow resist. Yeah. Fuck, that was a good video. Check him out, though. Vaulty. Give it a like. Subscribe if you're not already. He makes some good stuff. I'm gonna load up some other stuff. But yeah, what are people saying? Let's see if there's any other things that people are dropping. No other weapons. Alright, nobody's dropping other weapons. So yeah, that was a great video. Check it out.